Did you ever watch that OBS video or not?
I did, yes. It basically shows how to get OBS set it up and everything else, how to click on this, how to click on that, the basic stuff I already know. And good
Uh,
evening, everybody. This is Music Maniacs with me, YR, and Ark and YR, who will be joining us later on in the program. He stated that he's kind of busy at the moment, but he rest assured he'll be on with us later on. And tonight on our look at influential albums, we're going to be taking a look at Bobby was considered the first ever concept album by a rock and roll band. We're talking about the Moody Blues, Days of Future Past, which came out in 1967, featuring Tuesday Afternoon, Peak Hour, The Day Begins, and of course the immortal Nights in White Satin. And the noise here right now is YR. He's doing something in the bathroom right now. You're shaving, I guess you stated you were?
yeah, I'll be almost done. Give me 5 minutes. We'll be ready.
Shaved earlier this afternoon before I went out, started shopping. Because I know how the pain in the ass that is at times. In fact, probably tomorrow I should probably get me some new razors because the ones I got right now are pretty much reached its peak. But before we get to, oops, my bad. Something here, I forgot. Let me get to the news that I found on Google a couple of days ago, and it gets. Let me take care of this. Now we all know Mick Mars, the now former guitarist for Motley Crue. He has filed a lawsuit against his former bandmates over a number of reasons. Apparently, he was forced out of the group because of his, spine condition. Maybe what the hell happened here? There we go. The thing lost connection for a second on my phone. There we go. I don't know what the hell is going on here. Of course, Motley Crue are saying that when you retire from the road, you basically retire from Motley Crue. Now, this came on Loudwire.com a couple of days ago, and it says here Motley Crue has lost the latest legal battle in the ongoing dispute with their former guitarist Mick Mars. The two sides have been battling it out since April, when Mars claimed that the band was trying to rip him off financially following his retirement from touring with the band. Now, a Los Angeles judge has ruled that the band refused to turn over documents to Mars in a timely manner, despite the guitarist and his representatives continuing the request. The requests were not burdensome, but yet Mars was compelled to file suit. It appears that production would not have occurred without it. Mars is entitled to attorney fees. This is coming from a Los Angeles Superior Court judge, James Calfat. He said that in his ruling, as reported by Rolling Stone. The judge further noted that the band claimed to have given Mars, quote, all the responsive documents he requested back in November, only to turn around and give the guitarist an additional 1,372 pages of records in early December. These documents should have been produced without the need for prodding by Mars. The failure to produce the documents earlier than December 8th amounts to a refusal. Despite the decision, the dispute between the crew and Mars still continues. The crux of the battle, Mark claims, is that basically he was illegally severed from the band. Now, the dispute is scheduled to be heard by a private abbreviator later this year. Meanwhile, lawyers for both sides claimed victory following the judge's recent ruling. Now, Mars's attorney stated, quote, "Finally, somebody somewhere has told these guys they cannot bully Mick anymore. We are in the middle of a huge abbreviation that will ultimately decide if Mick has to give up his shares or not, if they did things properly or not. Obviously, we claimed we did not do anything properly, but they feel that they're always above the rules. And that's what this lawsuit is all about." That coming from Mars's attorney. Now, there's more to this, according to the attorney. Well, actually, it's a judge saying this, my bad. This was them feeling that they were above the rules. And this judge is saying, no, you're not. You may have to give in all the documents now, so there's nothing for left me to do, but you're going to pay for it. I think that's a pretty huge victory for Mick. If you want to claim a victory, that's fine. But this is someone who's obviously telling Mick, no, you're not crazy. These guys are bullying you, and we're not going to let that happen. On the other side, excuse me, Motley Crue's representatives were happy that the judge dismissed Mars' legal further filings as he considered them moot following this decision. Moot spelled M-O-O-T. The case is over. That's the key takeaway stated from the band's attorney. By denying the petition to moot and ending the case, the court found that the band turned over all the documents to Mr. Mars. There was nothing more to do. The band went above and beyond its obligations in providing more documents than the statute required. Indeed, the court's decision explained the thousands of documents that the band had provided to Mr. Mars. Wow. So this thing is far from over because there's a lot more to be coming our way, I guess. Needless to say. Ark, you there?
Yeah,
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm okay.
That's doing all right. Yeah. I just did some rock news a moment ago about Motley Crue versus Mick Mars, blah blah blah. And I don't know if you saw the videos that YR put it up of course, Zakk Sabbath featuring Zakk Wylde from Ozzy Osbourne and Black Label Society. It's a Black Sabbath cover band. He has the whole concert up on his channels there, both of them, I should say. Entertainment Channel 360 and Master of Concerts. Definitely go sub to them, both of them, I should say. And let me get this out of the way here. Blah blah blah. Here we go. And the main focus of the episode that we're doing tonight is, of course, Days of Future Past. And this is ongoing in our series of albums that made a huge impact for society and rock and roll in general. This album came out in 1967. It was the second record by the Moody Blues. It was one of the first concept albums. And the concept of this particular album was everyday life for the modern man and the modern woman of that time. It was one of the first records to feature orchestra arrangements on that album. It was basically orchestra pieces here and there, mixing some recordings that the Moody's had done, like Peak Hour, Nights in White Satin, Tuesday Afternoon, other songs like Evening, other tracks. And I remember having this album be mainly because it had the song Nights in White Satin on it. I first heard that song during one of my schools that I went to as a wee kid, and I was entranced by the arrangements, the sound, the production, and the mellotron that Mike Pinder was playing on that recording. Now, it was recorded at a time when the Moodies were suffering financial difficulties and lack of critical and commercial success. Their parent label, Decca Records, had planned to release a classical album to showcase the stereo recording techniques of its new imprint, which is called Duran Records, a label that the Moodies would record for the next few records until they decided to put together their own label known as Threshold. But instead brought in the Moodies to create a original work combining pop rock with progressive orchestrations arranged and conducted by one Peter Knight. They composed a suite of songs about the life of everyday human beings, man and woman, with the group and the orchestra playing separately and mixed in together. The album version of Nights of White Satin proves that. It was a moderate success upon its release, but following steady radio airplay, particularly in the hit single Nights of White Satin, which I just mentioned, it became a top US hit in 1972. It has since been listed among the most important albums of 1967 by Rolling Stone magazine. Right? You spoke about this album, Ark, and a few times, and what are your thoughts on it?
Well, basically, when I was a senior in high school, I believe, they were playing Tuesday afternoon on the radio, the cut version, 3.5 minutes, something like that.
Yes.
And I really liked it, so I went and got the single. And the backside is The Morning, Another Morning.
Ah.
And I listened to that and I said, hey, this is pretty good. Then I saw the album and I thought to myself, I got to have this album. So I bought it and I played it, and I was just astounded by what I was hearing.
I believe it was that song was in. Let me guess the movie. Might have been. I mean, it's a big movie like Forrest Gump or something else. It was in that song.
Well, it was probably in Forrest Gump because they were doing a lot of the 70s and 60s songs.
Yeah.
So that would be my guess. I don't know.
I remember the song, not on the movie, but because it's a big song. But I remember in a certain scenes in movies you never forget, or certain parts of movies that are, they play a song to it, you don't forget.
Right.
I'm gonna give me 5 minutes, Brian. I'm gonna y'all get through your segment and we'll dive into the Zakk Sabbath thing and everything later on.
I know, yeah. We're waiting for you to be ready, and you're
Minutes,
gonna. All right, there. YR's gonna rejoin us later on in a while. All right, there. Back to the Moody's album, Days of Future Past. Now, the Moody Blues had started out as a rhythm and blues band, had achieved commercial success in '65 with the top 10 hit in the UK and the US, Go Now, featuring Danny Lane, who later joined Wings, Paul McCartney's post-Beatles band.
Yeah, Danny Lane left Moddy Blues, and they were kind of, what do we do now? And that's when they found Justin Hayward.
Ah, that's interesting, which was a good thing to do because Justin provided a lot for the band. Definitely.
And I'm thinking Danny Lane left because their follow-up song, a song called Stop, did nothing. I mean, it was a good song, but it did nothing.
Really? I never even heard the song myself, so there you go.
Well, if you get a chance sometime, I think it's on that same album. Look it up. It's, I think, a decent little song. I don't know why it didn't do well.
What was the name of the first Moody Blues album, by the way? Because I remember seeing. Because you remember.
I think it was From the Bottom of My Heart or something like that.
I had
it. I believe it was From the Bottom of My Heart.
All right, let me look it up right now because this is most unique because I remember those albums inner sleeves where they advertised the latest releases by this record label, by this artist, that artist, this artist, that artist, and one of them was the Moody Blues, featuring their hit single "Go Now." So I thought in a while it was the Moody Blues first record was simply called Moody Blues. I'm gonna look it up right
I
now.
don't remember. Like I said, I had it, but I don't remember.
All right, there. Let me look it up right now. Okay, when do you do that? Okay, now we're roll. Wire's gonna help me fix my OBS issue here. Why is it not working? Come on, man. Let me try this one there. It has to wait a few while. Gotta wait a couple minutes. I don't know, for some reason. I think it's OBS issues that I'm having with issues. It's got to be the OBS because whenever I try to record on it, things kind of get out of the way. Okay. The album that came out, the first Moody Blues album was simply called The Magnificent Moodies.
Hmm.
It featured I Go Crazy,
Right.
Go Now, It's Easy Child, and one called And My Baby's Gone. It was a mix of rhythm and blues covers with Danny Lane, Mike Pinder originals, and the latter showing more of a Mersey beat influence.
I don't remember if Stop was on that album or not, but it was their second single.
Let me see here. Okay, I got the discography from the Wikipedia. I'm looking that up right now. It's going to take a while. Give me a few minutes. I'll list all the songs. Yeah, we got to get this computer looked at sometime soon. Okay. Okay. The Magnificent Moody's. And let's see here. Releasing in 65. And let's see here. Give me a couple minutes. Blah, blah, blah. It's not really do. Okay, here we go. The list of tracks on the Moody's first record. I'll Go Crazy. Something You Got.
James
Go
Brown
Now.
cover.
Yep. By the way, that's the first track that I just mentioned.
Right.
Okay, Go Now is the third track. Can't Nobody Love You. I Don't Mind. I Got a Dream. And Let Me Go. Stop, the one you just mentioned. Thank You,
Yeah.
Baby. It Ain't Necessary So. True Story. And Bye Bye Bird. It came out in 1965 by the Moody's. It was one of their first big hits.
Yeah.
Right there.
It was kind of odd that follow-up did nothing. I mean, it pretty much tanked. I'd heard it, of course, because I listened to radio constantly.
Yes. And what's kind of weird is that, that's usually when a band starts to worry. That's when usually a artist or a band really gets themselves all worked up and stressed because the record companies and the management are expecting you to follow up that hit with another hit but sell more.
5 minutes. I'll go live off PS4. You can get a live audience.
Okay.
Give me 5 minutes. I'll die.
All
Be
right.
ready to rock.
Okay.
Listening.
All right. Now, Justin Hayward had joined the group after Lane's departure, and he said, "We had no money, no nothing." According to the group, in December of '67, Decca Records asked them to record a version of Antonin's. It's a thing called Sympathy Number
Dvorak.
Direct. Yes, thank you very much. Remember, I'm having a hard time pronouncing some of these names because these are names I've not heard of. These are names I've heard for the very first time. So you see where I'm coming from, folks.
Well, I pretty much got in. I was into classical music pretty big, so I know who Dvorak is.
Thank goodness. Now, Decca's newly formed record label, Duran Records, the Moody's were requested to do this in order to demonstrate their latest recording techniques, which at the time were called Duramic sound. Recording engineer Derek Varnell disputes this story, claiming that even at the start of the sessions, there was no intent to record anything based on this composition of this composer. And that
Right.
talk of this project did not emerge until the 1970s. Decca had experimented with stereophonic sound for classical recordings and hoped to capture the pop market in the same way by interweaving classical recordings with the group's interpretations of the same music. Instead, the band, without the label knowing about it, decided to focus on an album based on the original stage show that they had been working on and mix that with the classical arrangements of those songs. Keyboard player Mike Pinder had purchased a Mellotron, which is a tape replay keyboard. He written a song called Dawn is a Feeling, and that was the starting point for the concept piece about a day in the life of an everyday man. Hayward wrote Nights of White Satin about the changes between one relationship and another, using bed sheets as a metaphor, while Pinder added a string line on the mellotron to accompany Hayward's basic song framework. The group released what they had written, something notable and a suitable ending for the cycle. Recording sessions for the album took place at Decca Studios in West Hampstead, my bad, between May the 9th and November 3rd, 1967. The band worked with record producer Tony Clark, who would go on to produce the core 7 of their albums. The group recorded and mixed the sessions first, and then passed out the finished tapes over to Knight for arranging and recording the orchestra interludes. And the album's music features psychedelic rock ballads by Hayward, Piner, Lodge, and Thomas, orchestra interludes from the London Festival Orchestra. The band and the orchestra actually worked to play together during the last part of the piece, Nights of White Satin, the album version I'm referring to. The single version did not have that. Music writers cite the album as an early example of progressive rock music. Bill Holdship of Yahoo Music remarks that the band, quote, created an entire genre. David Fricke of Rolling Stone cites it as one of the most essential albums of '67, next to Sgt. Pepper. It finds it closer to high art pomp than psychedelica. But there is a sharp pop expression to the writing and the happy romanticism in the mirroring effect of the strings and Mike Pinder's mellotron. Another writer, Will Herms, cites the album as an prog rock record and opts that its use of the mellotron, a tape replay keyboard, made it a signature element of the genre. And he's right about that. Almost every
Hmm.
prog rock group that was out there used a mellotron, ranging from early Yes, early Genesis, King Crimson, and I do not know if Emerson, Lake and Palmer used a mellotron in any of their albums. Did they by chance?
I don't think they did. He was mostly straight keyboards.
Yeah, more like a synthesizer
Hmm.
guy, basically. He, by the way, referring to the late Keith Emerson.
He even
Now,
used a theremin.
yeah, that's right, Theremin. That's what Jimmy Page used a few times when he was on stage with Led Zeppelin.
Hmm.
Check out the version of Whole Lot of Love on the Song Remains the Same movie. He uses that throughout that whole piece. And if anybody's interested in what a theremin is, definitely look on YouTube. And man, you will be amazed how that device was used in a lot of sci-fi movies from the 60s and 50s. Think about and a lot of psychedelic records. All right, there. Let me continue. Now, here's something else that I also found while looking this up. In July of 1978, it was discovered that the UK master tapes for the album had deteriorated, and as a result from this, the album was remixed in its entirety that same year, which was used for reissues between 78 and 2017. Some compositions, however, continued to use the original 67 stereo mix for certain songs. The album's original mix was eventually released in its entirety on compact disc in November 2017. Now, the ways that the later mix departs from the original are the following. 1. After the orchestra intro, Dawn is a Feeling begins more abruptly, and there is less echo on Mike Pinder's vocal at the bridge, making it more prominent. 2. On the track Another Morning, Ray Thomas' double vocals are spread left and right in the stereo channel. The flute interlude is played twice towards the end of the song before the orchestra siege comes in. 3. The orchestra intro, Lunch Break, goes on about 15 seconds longer before faded out. That's when the track Peak Hour comes in.
When you see me on your TV, my name, wing. Listen, so
Hmm.
Doobie Brothers, right? Are
Yes.
they? Is it the Doobie like a marijuana joint, or is it
Yep.
Doobie
Yep. That's
name?
where he got the name.
You
That's where he got
serious?
the name. Because remember, Doobies was a term for a joint back in the 70s.
That was like a stoner band, like a marijuana band, kind of.
I'm not too sure myself, but I think if the
Well, they
word,
didn't do a lot of songs concerning it.
Oh, they didn't.
no,
Not really.
What about What about the Allman Brothers? Like? Do they? There's a tribute band called Shroomville. Why is the Allman Brothers tribute called Shroomville? Do they like mushrooms, or is there a song called that, or do you know about that?
I'm not too sure myself. I don't really have any Allman Brothers bands albums myself there. But then again, what band in the 1970s didn't do drugs?
You're
Skynyrd,
right.
You
Aerosmith,
don't have
Sabbath.
Live at the Fillmore? Damn.
Hmm. I've heard about it a few times, many times. I should take that
That
back.
album's one of the ones that kicked open the door for live albums because it was so awesome.
Yeah, I heard about a lot of. I remember hearing the version of Whipping Post that was played most
Oh Lord,
a lot of
20
time.
minutes.
I know exactly. You probably check out Frank
Great
Zappa's
song, and
version.
it doesn't feel like 20 minutes. Didn't feel like 20 minutes at all.
Now, but that's how damn good a song is. When time goes by, when you're listening to it, it's like, wow, that was a damn good song. I forgot to keep track. Wouldn't you know? Okay, at the end of the evening, Time to Get Away is missing a mellotron part and only repeats twice instead of 3 times. The Sunset is missing some piano parts, percussion parts, and the reverb on Through the Night is different. The piece Twilight Time begins more abruptly after the orchestra interlude, and the backup vocals on Twilight Time are heard through the entire song instead of only coming in at certain points. At the beginning of Nights of White Satin, as the orchestra prelude ends, there is one less beat of time before the rhythm section kicks in. And finally, some of the strings near the end of Nights in White Satin before the late Lamed are out of sync with the main body of the song. Now, the Moodies did not play any of the
You
music.
might see it in there, but I heard a story that okay,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Ark. I'm interested to hear.
but I heard a story that the London Festival Orchestra didn't actually exist. It was kind of put together by Peter Knight to play this.
I see there. So we just put together
I
a bunch
don't
of,
know. Like I said, I just heard that. I don't know if that's true or not.
well, if it was, we would not be surprised because remember, Lennon and Ono, when they had their Plastic Ono band, that comprised of many different members.
I heard she's not in good health right now. Yoko Ono.
What's wrong?
Yoko Ono.
Yeah. Or
There's a
Yoko.
documentary. There's a
J-
documentary on John Lennon's death. I haven't watched it, but I heard about it, and they interviewed,
Yo,
like like people are surrounding that. I guess investigators, friends, blah blah blah, around that death of John
yes.
Lennon,
Yeah.
and they interviewed a bunch of people, but she wasn't available to interview because of bad health and stuff. So how old
Mm.
is Yoko Ono? Like
I
how old
think
are?
she may be in her 80s if I'm correct. Get me up. See if you could look that up, YR.
Let me see.
Right. Because I remember that she was 7 years older than John. She was 37 when John was 30. I guess when that was back in 1970. All right, back to the story here as I read along to everyone. What do we got here? Hmm. The Moody's did not play any of the music to Decca executives until the album was officially completed. Upon the first play, they were disappointed with the result as it was not the arrangements that the label was expecting. And that Dorovac guy, what's his name again? Dorovac, if I'm correct? Art
Dvorak,
Dvorak, yes.
Anton Dvorak.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much. Walt McGuire, who is a representative for London Records, which was Decca's North American arm, however, thought it would be a strong seller in the US. So it was agreed to release the album as it was recorded. It was released on November November 10th, 67 in the UK, and arrived in the US on March 68. It reached number 27 on the UK charts, and in the US, it was already a steady seller in the late 60s. And what helped the album sell like as it did was, of course, the song Nights in White Satin, and eventually to number 2 on the US Billboard chart that same year, 1972. It was the second and last album to be released in both stereo and mono formats in the US. The mono version was pressed as a limited quality as it was released during the phase out of the mono albums releases by major record labels.
Well, back in the day, I always bought stereo, but generally, if you saw both available, mono was usually $1 cheaper.
Yeah.
That
I
it was
think I,
kind of weird that way, but
and mono, for those who are unaware, is when the sound, instead of you hearing this stuff in the right channel and the left channel of earphones, it's all collided together to form one.
sounds the same whichever channel you're listening to.
Yes, because I had but it's most different. It's interesting to hear both versions, especially in the mono version, because you're somehow in a way able to hear more than you expect in the stereo version. Like for example, the first Hendrix album, Are You Experienced? I had it in the original stereo, And by chance, I found me a mono version of that album. And listening to both versions, like, wow, this is interesting. And I think I even had the Hard Day's Night original soundtrack in mono just as well. The original that came out hmm, that came out on United Artists Records back in '64.
You see that, by the way, Brown?
What's up?
Did you see that Judas Priest record clock?
Yes, I did. The one with the
That's a real
Scream of
vinyl.
Prevention
It's a real.
Hellion on it. Badass.
It's a blank vinyl, but it's still a real vinyl record. They made it. They actually cut that. You know what I'm saying? It's real.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. That is badass to the core, I will say. I've seen a few of those in the past. Definitely. I've seen it on Google Images, and indeed they did it with I think they did it with the members of Sabbath, the Beatles, and a few others. Most unique how they do that. You gotta have very careful planning and a very steady hand
I
to
think
create that.
out of all, and this goes for like I guess you can t-shirt designs, but out of all the band logo designs, my favorite is Judas Priest. I think they have the coolest looking like t-shirt. I mean, obviously Iron Maiden, right? It's very
Yep,
popular.
absolutely.
Metallica, cool logo. Metallica, cool logo. Sabbath, obviously, with the purple, but Kiss, right, with the
Yep.
emblem. But Van Halen. I think that's so cool. The
No.
VH, like that's. But that Judas Priest, 'cause you don't see a lot of Judas people wearing Judas Priest shirts. You see everyone wearing Metallica shirts. You see everyone wearing Iron Maiden shirts. But not a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? You got to be in the mix, brother.
Yeah, exactly. I'm wearing my sleeveless Black Sabbath shirt, by the way, for the record. Check it out. And the reason I'm wearing it is because later on we'll touch on Zakk Sabbath, which YR saw. Was it last night?
Yes.
Nice. Oh yeah. All right. So the Moody's album. And to conclude this, it was the second and last record for it to be in both stereo and in mono. And upon its release, Rolling Stone gave the album an enthusiastic reviewing, writing, "The Moody Blues have matured consistently since Go Now, but the music is constantly marred by one of the most startlingly composition conceptions of beauty and mysticism that any rock group has ever affected." New York Magazine dismissed it as a ponderous mound of thought jello. However, the album has since received acclaim. For example, Spin magazine cited it as a classic of progressive rock. By 2007, Rolling Stone, which had originally described the album as an English rock group strangling itself in conceptual goo, included on its list of essential albums of 1967. The album was also issued as a discrete quadraphonic open reel tape in 1977. Now, reel tape are the reels that you used to play on the tape record. It wasn't really like a cassette or a 8-track. These are actual reels, like
Reel to reel.
yes, exactly.
They used to have a call it reel to reel. I had one of those.
Yes, I think my dad had a couple albums and classical releases on the reel reel. I think one of them may include a Simon and Garfunkel album, but those were
Mm.
actually available back then during the 60s and 70s. And I'm guessing it was like a program 1 and program 2 on each side, if I'm correct.
As I remember, yeah, but I never got tapes for that. I used blank tapes and recorded stuff.
I see there. And I'm surprised the market today has not brought back cassettes since you brought back vinyl. In fact, one of the things I'm going to plan on doing tomorrow is picking up the 7-inch single for Now and Then, the recent Beatles song that came out not too long ago. It's on blue vinyl, by the way. I'm going to definitely get that for sure because, gosh, it's been ages since I had a 45. Now, the master of Days of Future Past was also used for a 2001 DTS 5-bit 1 channel audio CD release, and once again for a 2-disc deluxe edition SACD release in 2006. On November of 2017, the original mix was made available for the first time on CD as Days of Future Past 50th Anniversary Deluxe Edition. They also released the Moody Blues Days of Future Past live, which was recorded live in Toronto that same year with a full orchestra backup.
Hmm.
Right. And one
I
of the
wouldn't
things,
mind hearing that.
yeah, I think it's probably on YouTube if I'm correct. If not, definitely look it up on Amazon, eBay, or Spotify, or whichever stuff you order your music from. Definitely look at that. All right, so why are you there, man?
Hello?
Hello, you there, dude?
Are you okay, brother?
I'm okay. We're waiting on you, dude, to tell us about the mighty Zakk Sabbath.
Did you see any of that, guys? Or not?
Yes, I did. Absolutely. Badass show. And as I stated earlier, if Dimebag was still alive and he and
Yo,
Zach
music
were
mongoloids.
what? Oh, of course. I'm joking around. If him and Dimebag, if he was still alive, were to form a supergroup, the guitar riffs and licks that they would do together would blow every venue off the ground. No doubt about
Yeah.
that. Because both were extreme shredders.
Well,
Known extreme shredders.
extreme threats.
SC, what's up?
Did any of you guys ever see Black Sabbath in concert?
I only
Next.
saw them one time back in 1983 when Ian Gillan was their frontman at the Cobo Arena. Me, a couple of our neighbors, and my sister's then boyfriend, we went to that venue, and I enjoyed the show, but everybody else wanted to leave early to avoid the traffic and all sorts, which is now today understandable.
I saw them during their reunion tour.
Yeah.
Got to see him with Ozzy and the original band,
Yep.
basically.
Bill, Terry, well, Terry being, of course, Geezer, and of course, Tony himself there.
What year was that?
They
was-
they
Girl?
had Incubus
What up?
open, and Pantera was the second band, and then Sabbath came on.
Yep.
Wow.
No, SC?
Oh no, Earl.
Yeah.
RY.
And what's up?
RY.
Your voice keeps cutting out.
RY had asked you. He wanted to ask you something.
Yeah, what is it, YR? You want to ask?
Go ahead, Dr. Brown.
I'm asking you.
I mean, go ahead, SC.
No, it's okay, Earl.
And
Thank you.
Thank you.
so
that was fun.
I know. I know. So SC, have you
Yeah.
listened to what we're discussing? Moody Blues album?
Negative.
Dude. Jesus Christ.
Is that what
dude.
you're going to
He's
say?
probably sitting there going, Moody Blues, who are they?
Well,
No, I was listening. I'm sorry, but we gotta hit that.
Have you listened to what we're discussing? The Moody Blues album?
Negative.
Oh, jeez.
Now I was listening and I was taken back by a couple of songs you guys said because I know I've heard them in some old movies, but I'll sit back and listening for the past 13 minutes.
Well, the cool thing about the Moody Blues is they followed this album with 6 more, what's basically called the Core 7.
Yep. Exactly.
They had others, the one before and about 5 after, but the Core 7 are the big ones with the Moody's.
Exactly. Yeah, in fact, this album was the start of that. The albums that would follow would be, of course, In Search of the Lost Chord, On the Threshold of a Dream, A Question of Balance, To Our Children's Children's would be come before A Question of Balance. Seventh Sorin also follow as well.
Sojourn.
Sojourn, thank you.
Seventh Sojourn.
Seventh Sojourn.
Hoosier.
And
Who's your daddy?
ooh. SC, you're high on something, man?
Yeah, I did the triple C's.
Oh.
What's your name? Who's your daddy?
My name is Ray Rollins.
How's he doing, by the way?
Of course, you don't know what song that came from, do you?
We do. We do. I'll let them figure it out.
No, I don't. I'm not gonna lie. Bruce Willis?
It's a music artist.
Huh?
No idea.
That's why you need people like us.
Yes, the Music Maniacs. Although originally the title said Music Mongoloids, but.
So YR, you gotta tell everybody about Zakk Sabbath that you saw last night. Was it called? The Granada Theater, I guess it was called.
Yeah, Punk. I see him, Simo on the fucking call. What the fuck?
No, it's us four.
That look like Simo. You got.
Ark, do you know the Granada brother?
Say that again. Say it again.
Zakk Sabbath.
Theater?
You guys are talking over each other, and I didn't hear what was said.
Okay, go ahead, YR.
Well, yeah, you know the Granada Theater?
The name is familiar.
It's,
I think I've actually been there.
Yeah, it's like a theater, but it's a concert venue.
In fact, I think I saw Robin Trower there.
Really?
Like the State Theater back in Detroit.
Because I did go to a theater to see Robin Trower, and it was downtown Dallas. Well, not downtown, but it was
close to it.
It was in an obscure part of Dallas.
Yeah, like it was. It's like imagine going in a movie theater, but instead of the screen, it's a stage.
I'm pretty sure I saw Trower there because I saw Trower in that kind of setting.
But it was, there was an issue at the end, Brown.
Yes.
Obviously, we know really concerts, sport events, towards the end, people have a lot of alcohol in their system.
Of course.
Yes.
So there's like a balcony level, right? There's like a second level.
Oh, yeah. I was there. They had tables up there.
Yeah.
Right?
In some parts, yeah, like they have like little VIP boxes where you can sit, and it just depends on what kind of concert they'll set it up different. But yeah, it's a second level.
I've definitely been there then because I don't think they have another place like that in Dallas.
But what would you do, Brown?
The parking was horrible, correct?
Oh,
if you get I always, if you gotta know where to park and stuff,
Right.
You gotta pre-plan. But if you're late to stuff, then you're always screwed either way.
So you gotta get there way early, I guess, right?
When you get
because it's like going to the Starplex. If you go there early, you're fine. You go there late, you're going to be in a long line, and you're going to be parked about a mile away.
Yeah. You know what? There was a
problem though. When it's a GA concert and
general mission,
it's pretty much first come first serve. You you don't have to move, you don't have to whatever. So basically, there was this woman, older, not hot or nothing, just drunk, and
Mm-hmm.
I guess she wanted to squeeze in or something, but it was, it's kind of impossible. And I was first, and she grabbed my arm, Dr. Brown.
Mm.
Oh.
What would you do, Dr. Brown? What would you do if like a drunk female grabbed your arm? Almost like a Karen type, right? Not hot, none of that. Just drunk and annoying. Would
And
you hit her back, Brown? What would you do in that
so
situation?
well how
I ignored
well
as I
she
could.
grabbed your arm, but what she was trying to do, yank you out of the
Like,
way, pull
yeah,
you next to her, or what?
kept ignoring her. She's like, and I don't play that shit, bro. You come late to a concert, you stand or sit where you end up. You come early, or you pick the spot you pick, and that's your spot, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
but
Let's see.
you know, Dr. Brown, would you get security on that? Would you ignore? I ignored because you can't really talk to drunk people. You can't,
Nope.
even though you're right. Like they're in a way different world, bro. And maybe I should have yanked my arm because that made her madder, kind of deal. Like,
Okay,
and
So what was she basically trying to get to the front of the stage?
get a
wanna-
better view. I mean, I'm an asshole. I have my phone up the whole time, but hey, if you want a better view, get there early. Like I'm gonna have my phone up and my hands are gonna be up a lot of the time,
Hmm.
and it's fine. You know what I'm saying?
So
feeling fine.
basically, she was basically bitching at you for recording this show with your hands
No,
up there.
because she wanted to like be closer. I guess I don't know. She
Mm.
was short. And when you're in GA and you're short, it doesn't work that good.
Well, she could have stepped alongside you or found another position on the floor.
And Jacob RP was saying that you don't get no action with those women with the pictures.
Hmm.
Yeah, he said he mentioned that you got to chill with that because it's very
Oh,
very.
yeah. Well, why should I? Well, why does he want me to do that?
He said he's like very uncomfortable. He feels like you're like holding these women like as hostage, quote unquote.
That's a lie. RP is just butthurt over the fact that we have yet to see him with any females and any
Well,
selfies and any conversations.
It
I'll
is
have
true.
I'll have to disagree on that. I've seen many photos of him with females, but
How come we don't see him out in the public?
he's like, yeah, I know Earl. You know, Earl says he's straight edge and he doesn't drink. Yeah, well, he's smart. You know, he gets these chicks drunk and tipsy, so then he asks for photos while they're
No,
drunk and tipsy.
actually, I don't.
Uh,
I don't get him drunk at all.
I don't know what to say, but
Well,
that's.
that's RP's problem then. That's all I gotta
Uh-oh.
say. Hey, so, YR, you said at one point Zakk was playing his guitar right up in front of you.
Did you see that video yet?
You know, I'm gonna definitely find it for sure because
Oh, look
I
at
tried
it.
I
Oh,
tried to find it, but at the place I was in, the Wi-Fi wasn't coming in clearly.
well, here, can you find it? Because it's at the end of War Pigs, and I
All
just like to hear
right,
you to like 20 seconds. Can you do it right now or no?
I'm looking at it right now. It's the one you just recently posted, right?
I like to find
Correct.
5 minute pigs or something. Yeah.
All right, there. And it's the one dated January 17th,
Here,
2024.
I'll send it. Here, I'll send it, brother.
All
I'll
right,
make
good,
sure I
good.
send you the right
All
one.
right, all right, there. Because this will be because man, to have Zakk play in front of you, definitely going to be lucky.
And
And
some guy like patted him on the back, and I shook the guy's hand, and I got
right.
and I got home. I got home and rubbed my hand all over my guitars. So
This guitar has officially been blessed by the Zakk. And that must be Ark's phone going off.
Nope.
It's not yours?
No.
If you want it,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to...
Hmm.
Are you ready, Brown?
Yes, I'm ready. Let me see it.
Brown, the merch I spent $80 on merch, and the merch costs more than the
Man,
tickets to get in.
damn, how much was tickets?
$30 a piece.
Hmm.
Can't beat that,
Wow.
right?
That's good. I like that. That's a good one there. Get a couple of
Maybe
minutes.
1,000 people there.
That's it.
Well, it's a small venue.
Oh, yeah.
It is. It's a very small venue.
Small venue, my ass.
Right, I'm looking
Like,
for the part right now.
Rock isn't.
Well,
It's popular, but it's not.
It's a dying breed, brother.
It's not like that. No, it's not that. It's not like Justin
I
Bieber.
see him. He's going out to the crowd, jamming away, surrounded by security.
He does this every show. I knew he was going to do this, but I didn't think he was going to end up where he ended up. Because
Hey,
right in front, he went in, like, they had these little boxes. So, like,
yep.
these luxury boxes. So, like, he went in this person's luxury box there. It might have been a family, it might have been someone he knows. I don't know. But
There you
they
are.
were.
I see you right now. And there he is, right by your side, dude.